Drive through hundreds of small towns across America today, and you will notice something strange almost immediately. The streets are quiet. The schools are smaller. The businesses close earlier than they used to. And the people you see walking down the sidewalk are not young couples pushing strollers or teenagers hanging out after school. Instead, you see gray hair, slower steps. Older faces sitting on porches, waiting for something that never quite arrives. This is not happening in one town. It is happening in thousands. Small towns across the United States are aging faster than almost anywhere else in the country. And it is not because people suddenly decided to grow old there. It is because the young are leaving, the middle class is disappearing, and the future quietly packed its bags years ago. This video is not about blaming small towns. It is about understanding why they are growing older, emptier, and more fragile every year. And once you see the pattern, you will never look at small-town America the same way again. The aging map of America. America's population is getting older everywhere, but the aging is not evenly spread. Big cities still attract young professionals, immigrants, and students. Suburbs continue to grow with families. But rural and small-town America is aging at a speed that is quietly alarming. In many towns, the median age has climbed above 50 years old. In some places, it is approaching 60. That means entire communities are being held together by people who are already retired or approaching retirement. Schools are shrinking or closing. Youth sports leagues struggle to find enough children. Hospitals are overwhelmed, not by births, but by chronic illnesses. This is what happens when a town stops renewing itself. A healthy town replaces its older generation with a younger one. But in thousands of small towns, that cycle has broken. Young people left first. The aging of small towns did not happen overnight. It began decades ago when young people started leaving for education and never came back. 4 generations. Small towns offered stable jobs. Factories, mines, mills, farms, railroads, and local manufacturing once provided steady incomes that allowed young adults to stay close to home, raise families, and build a future. But as industries closed, automated, or moved overseas, those jobs disappeared. What replaced them was not enough. A young person graduating from high school today looks around a small town and sees very few paths forward. There are limited career options, lower wages, fewer employers, and almost no upward mobility. College becomes an exit ticket, not a temporary stop. And once they leave, most never return. Education became a one-way road. Higher education plays a huge role in why small towns are aging so fast. Colleges and universities are mostly located in cities or large metro areas. Students leave to study, experience new opportunities, and build networks that simply do not exist back home. After graduation, returning to a small town often feels like going backward. The jobs that require degrees are rarely available locally. Even when remote work became more common, many small towns lacked reliable internet, professional communities, or the lifestyle young professionals wanted. Education did not just pull young people away. It made returning feel impossible. Jobs that never came back, even for those who do not attend college. The job landscape in small towns has grown weaker every year. Manufacturing declined. Farming became more automated. Small local businesses struggled against big box stores and online shopping. Hospitals merged or closed. Banks consolidated. Rail lines shut down. The jobs that remained often paid less, offered fewer benefits, and came with unstable hours. Young adults looking to start families simply could not afford to stay. When work disappears, youth disappears with it. And when youth disappears, aging accelerates. A shrinking middle generation. One of the most dangerous aspects of aging small towns is the disappearance of the middle generation. In many towns, the population is split between older residents and a small number of children. The working-age adults in their 30s and 40s are missing. These are the people who normally coach teams, start businesses, volunteer in schools, serve on town councils, and carry the economic load. Without them, towns lose momentum. There are fewer taxpayers, fewer entrepreneurs, fewer leaders ready to take over when older residents step aside. The result is a fragile system that depends on retirees to keep things running. Healthcare keeps people in, but not young, ironically. Healthcare both anchors older residents and discourages younger ones. Many small towns have aging populations because older residents stay for familiarity, low housing costs, and community ties. But healthcare access in these towns is often limited. Clinics are understaffed. Hospitals close, maternity wards, or entire facilities. Specialists are hours away. Young families look at this reality and choose not to stay. Older residents remain because moving feels overwhelming. Younger people leave because staying feels risky. Housing that does not fit the future housing in small towns is often cheaper, but it is also older, inefficient, and poorly suited for modern needs. Young adults want updated homes, rentals, walkable areas, and energy-efficient buildings. Many small towns offer aging houses that require expensive repairs, lack rental options, and sit far from jobs or services. Developers rarely invest in these areas because demand is low. Demand stays low because young people do not move in. It becomes a closed loop. Social life quietly disappears. Aging towns are not just economically challenged, they are socially quiet. When young people leave, nightlife disappears. Restaurants close early. Entertainment options vanish. Events shrink. The town's rhythm slows down. For older residents, this may feel peaceful. For younger adults, it feels isolating. Human beings need social energy. Without it, towns lose their emotional heartbeat. If you grew up in a small town or still live in one, you have probably felt this shift without fully understanding it. And what we have covered so far is only the beginning. Because aging is not just about population numbers, it is about what happens next. As small towns continue to age, the changes are not loud or dramatic. There are no sudden collapses or breaking news alerts. Instead, the decline happens quietly, year after year, until one day, the town no longer resembles the place it once was. The most visible sign of this aging is not empty buildings or closed stores. It is the slow disappearance of everyday life. When a town grows older, faster than it grows younger, its priorities shift. What was once built for families, children, and working adults slowly become centered around survival and basic care. Schools shrink. Playgrounds sit empty. Community events lose their energy. And the future becomes something people talk about less and less. Retirees replace families. In many small towns, new residents are not young families or professionals. They are retirees. Older Americans often choose small towns because housing is cheaper, life is slower, and the environment feels familiar. These towns offer peace, quiet, and a sense of belonging that cities can no longer provide. On the surface, this seems like a positive trend. New residents are still new residents, but retirees do not replace families. They do not enroll children in schools. They do not grow the local workforce. They do not start many new businesses. They often live on fixed incomes, which limits how much money flows through the local economy. Over time, towns become dependent on an aging population that consumes services but does not replenish the system. Schools begin to disappear. One of the earliest and most painful signs of an aging town is the decline of its schools. Class sizes shrink. Teachers leave for better opportunities. Sports programs merge with nearby towns just to have enough players. Eventually, schools close entirely, forcing children to travel long distances every day. When a school closes, it sends a powerful message. This town no longer has a future. Families rarely move into towns without schools. Once the school is gone, the cycle accelerates. Fewer families arrive. More young people leave. The town grows even older. Healthcare becomes a breaking point as the population ages. Healthcare demands increase dramatically. Small-town clinics and hospitals are often unprepared for this shift. Doctors retire and are not replaced. Nurses move to cities where pay is higher. Emergency services struggle to stay funded. Maternity wards close because there are not enough births to justify keeping them open. Older residents need more care, but access becomes harder. Younger residents see this and leave before they are forced to rely on a fragile system. Healthcare does not just reflect aging, it accelerates it. The economic weight of an aging population places enormous financial pressure on small towns. Property taxes rise as the tax base shrinks. Infrastructure ages along with the population. Roads, water systems, and public buildings need repairs. But fewer working-age residents remain to pay for them. Local governments are forced to make difficult choices. Services are reduced. Libraries close early. Public transportation disappears. Town budgets become focused on maintenance instead of growth. When a town stops investing in the future stops showing up. Isolation becomes the norm. Aging towns are quieter, but they are also lonelier. Older residents often live alone after children move away or spouses pass on. Social circles shrink. Community spaces close. Transportation becomes harder for those who can no longer drive. Loneliness becomes one of the most serious hidden problems in aging small towns. It affects mental health, physical health, and overall quality of life. What once felt like a close-knit community slowly turns into a collection of isolated lives. While young people do not come back, many young adults say they would like to return to their hometowns someday. But when the time comes, reality stands in the way. There are few jobs, limited social life, weak healthcare, no schools, no childcare, no career growth, and often no peers. Even those who love their hometowns choose not to return because love does not pay bills or build futures. The emotional pull is strong. The practical barriers are stronger. Immigration and missed opportunities. Some towns have managed to slow aging by welcoming immigrants and new populations. These towns grow schools, reopen businesses, and rebuild communities. But many small towns resist change. Cultural fear, political tension, and lack of planning prevent towns from embracing newcomers. As a result, opportunities to rebalance the population are missed. Aging continues. Not because solutions do not exist, but because they are not accepted. What happens next? The future of aging small towns is uncertain, but the path is becoming clearer. Some towns will adapt. They will invest in broadband, attract remote workers, welcome new populations, and reinvent themselves. These towns will age more slowly and stabilize. Others will continue to shrink. Services will disappear. Populations will thin. Eventually, they will exist only as memories and names on maps. Aging is not just about time. It is about whether a place can renew itself. Final truth. Small towns in America are aging fast, not because people want them to fail, but because the systems that once supported them have broken. Young people did not leave because they stopped caring. They left because staying became impossible. The question is no longer why small towns are aging. The real question is which ones will survive. If you grew up in a small town or still live in one, this story is personal. And the future of these towns depends on honest conversations like this one. Comment below. Do you think small towns can recover? Or is the aging too far gone? Subscribe for more deep, real stories about America that most people never talk about.